Few figures in history have shaped the modern world as profoundly as Galileo Galilei. Galileo was born on February 15, 1564 in Pisa, Italy. As a young boy, Galileo showed an early interest in mathematics and science. At the age of 17, Galileo entered the University of Pisa to study medicine. During a lecture, he noticed a swinging lamp in a cathedral and realized that the time it took to swing back and forth remained constant regardless of how far it swung. Fascinated, he began experimenting with pendulums and discovered what would later become known as the law of the pendulum. Despite his brilliance, Galileo left the university without a degree, partly because of financial difficulties. By his late 20s, Galileo was teaching mathematics at the University of Pisa. There, he began performing bold experiments that challenged Aristotle's physics, which had dominated European thought for nearly 2,000 years. Aristotle had taught that heavier objects fall faster than lighter ones. Galileo doubted this and decided to test it. According to legend, he climbed the Leaning Tower of Pisa and dropped two spheres of different weights at the same time, showing that they hit the ground together. Whether or not the story is entirely true, Galileo proved that when ignoring air resistance, objects fall at the same rate regardless of mass. Later, he developed equations to describe motion mathematically. Galileo realized that a falling object accelerates at a constant rate, a discovery that would later become significant to Isaac Newton's laws of motion. In 1609, a new invention from the Netherlands, the telescope, began to spread across Europe. Galileo heard rumors of it and decided to build his own, improving the design until he could magnify objects up to 30 times their actual size. A few months later, Galileo turned his telescope towards the moon. For centuries, philosophers had claimed that celestial bodies were perfect, smooth spheres, unlike the flawed Earth. But through his lens, Galileo saw mountains, craters, and valleys, proving that the moon was a world much like our own. On January 7, 1610, Galileo made one of his greatest discoveries: 4 small stars near the planet Jupiter. Over several nights, he realized these stars were actually moons orbiting Jupiter. This showed that not everything revolved around the Earth as previously thought, and it helped confirm the heliocentric model, which suggested that the Sun, not the Earth, was at the center of the solar system. Galileo also observed Venus and noticed that it went through phases just like the Moon. Sometimes it was full, and other times it was crescent-shaped. This phenomenon could only be explained if Venus orbited the Sun, providing further proof for the heliocentric model. Despite Galileo's incredible discoveries, his support for the heliocentric model conflicted with the Catholic Church's beliefs, and he was later sentenced to house arrest for the rest of his life. However, Galileo continued his research in physics. His final masterpiece was smuggled out of Italy and published in the Netherlands. In it, he summarized 30 years of work on motion and mechanics, including the behavior of falling objects, acceleration, and the strength of materials. By the time of his death on January 8, 1642, Galileo was blind, old, and still officially condemned by the Church. But in the centuries that followed, his name inspired generations of scientists around the world, and he remains widely admired today.